Most people think learning faster is about intelligence, higher IQ, better memory, more talent. Wrong. Fighter pilots learn under pressure so extreme that one mistake can kill them, kill their team, or end a mission. They don't get to say, "I'll rewatch the tutorial later." They don't get to kind of understand it. They either perform or they fail, fast. And that's exactly why they improve faster than almost everyone else. Not because they're superhuman, because they use a training system your life is missing. 3 parts: brutal feedback, constraint-based practice, and performance scoreboards. I'm about to show you exactly how it works, and by the end of this video, you'll stop studying and start training. Chapter 1. Debrief or die. Here's what average people do after trying something hard. They finish the task. They feel tired. They move on. Maybe they say, "I'll do better next time." Useless. Fighter pilots do the opposite. After every mission, they debrief. Immediately, what worked, what failed, what they missed, what they assumed, what almost got them killed. No ego, no excuses, just data. This is the first unfair advantage. They don't wait for memory to fade. They capture mistakes while the evidence is still hot. Psychologists call this feedback timing. Immediate feedback beats delayed feedback because your brain can still link the action to the error. When feedback comes too late, your brain can't reconstruct what actually happened. You just get a vague feeling that you messed up. That teaches nothing. Most people live in vague feelings. I'm bad at math. I'm not a good speaker. I can't focus. That's not feedback, that's identity poison. Pilots don't say, "I'm bad." They say, "I turned too early. I missed the cue. I overloaded the sequence." Specific error, specific fix. That one shift changes everything. Same thing in elite sports. Same thing in surgery. Same thing in music. Top performers shorten the gap between performance and correction. You write an essay, debrief it. What was weak specifically? The hook, the structure, the examples, the transitions, the ending. You gave a presentation, debrief it. Where did people stop paying attention? Which point confused them? Which story landed? Which joke died? You studied for 2 hours, debrief it. What did you actually retain? What did you just reread like an idiot? What did you avoid because it felt hard? Most people fear mistakes. Pilots hunt them. Because mistakes are not failures, they are coordinates. But here's the problem though. Even with good feedback, most people still improve slowly. Why? Because they practice too wide. They do more. Pilots do smaller. Chapter 2. Train the bottleneck, not the whole performance. You practice the whole skill over and over because it feels productive. Read the whole chapter. Run the whole routine. Do the whole task. Wrong. That's repetition, not improvement. Fighter pilot training is built around isolating weak points. Not fly better, too vague. They train specific components under specific conditions. Decision speed, radio communication, target identification, procedure recall under stress, recovery after an error. They break performance into parts. Then they stress test the weakest part until it stops breaking. This is constraint-based practice. You don't just practice public speaking. You constrain the drill. Only openings. 10 reps. Only eye contact, 5 minutes. Only transitions between points. Only answering hostile questions. You don't just learn coding. Only loops today. Only debugging. Only reading error messages. Only writing functions from memory. And here's why this works. Cognitive load. Your working memory is limited. George Miller made this famous with the magical number 7 idea, and later research kept proving the same basic point. Your brain can only juggle so much at once. When you practice the full skill, your weak point hides inside the chaos. You think you're improving, you're just surviving. Constraints expose the bottleneck. This is why simulators work so well. Pilots can repeat the exact same failure condition again and again without waiting for real life to recreate it. Same trigger, same problem. Faster reps, faster learning. Average people wait for random life experience to teach them. Elite people manufacture repetitions. That's the second unfair advantage. And there's another thing. Constraints create focus. When the drill is narrow, your brain stops pretending to multitask. It knows exactly what success means. One drill, one target, one correction. Hit subscribe before you forget this because this is where most people waste years. They keep practicing the whole game while losing on the same move. But here's the thing though. Feedback plus constraints still won't guarantee progress if you can't measure improvement. And most people can't. They rely on mood. Mood is garbage. Chapter 3. Scoreboards beat motivation. You say you're improving because you feel more confident. Maybe. Or maybe you're just comfortable. Fighter pilots don't train on confidence. They train on standards. Checklist, complete or incomplete. Response time faster or slower. Procedure correct or incorrect. Target hit or missed. This is the third unfair advantage. They externalize performance. Your brain lies to protect your ego. Scoreboards don't care. This is why people plateau. They confuse familiarity with competence. Psychologists call this the illusion of competence. You reread notes and think, yeah, I know this. Then the test hits and your brain goes blank because recognition is not recall. Pilots don't trust recognition, they test execution. You need a scoreboard for any skill you care about. Not vibes, numbers, learning. Track recall rate, not reading time. How many pages means nothing. How much can I reproduce from memory means everything. Writing, track output and revision quality. Words written, time to first draft. How many edits before it's clean? Fitness, track reps, form quality, rest time, consistency. Not I had a good workout. Focus, track uninterrupted deep work blocks. Not I was busy. If it matters, score it. And keep it simple, stupid. One dashboard, few metrics. Daily review. Why few metrics? Because too many numbers become another form of procrastination. You're not building NASA. You're trying to stop lying to yourself. There's a reason elite training environments use checklists and evaluation rubrics. Ajul Gawande wrote an entire book about how simple checklists outperform memory in high-stakes environments. Under pressure, humans forget, systems remember. You are not failing because you're lazy all the time. You are failing because your process has no scoreboard. No scoreboard means no signal. No signal means no correction. No correction means no progress. But here's the problem, though. Even with a scoreboard, people still sabotage themselves in one predictable way. They only practice when they feel ready. That's cute and useless. Chapter 4. Train under friction, not comfort. You think your real problem is knowledge. Sometimes it is. But most of the time, your real problem is state control. You can do the skill when you're calm. Can you do it when you're tired? Distracted, embarrassed, rushed, watching the clock? After making a mistake? Fighter pilots train under pressure because performance collapses when stress rises. If you only practice in perfect conditions, you are not training the skill. You are training the mood. This is where a lot of self-improvement advice fails. It teaches the what in clean, quiet, low-stakes environments. Real life is noisy. So steal the pilot method. Add friction on purpose. Studying, use timed recall. Speaking, practice while standing on camera. No script. Coding, debug with a timer. Learning a language, respond immediately. No translating in your head for 20 seconds like an idiot. Stress inoculation works because your brain learns context. The more context you train in, the more durable the skill becomes. This is also why retrieval practice is so powerful. Research summarized in Make It Stick shows that effortful recall strengthens memory more than passive review. Struggle is not a sign you're bad. Struggle is the mechanism. If it feels easy, you might just be consuming. If it feels hard, your brain is probably encoding. Pilots understand this. They don't worship comfort. They worship readiness. And that changes how they think about confidence, too. Confidence is not a feeling first. Confidence is evidence. Evidence from reps. Evidence from debriefs. Evidence from scoreboards. Evidence from recovering after mistakes. That's real confidence, not motivational quotes. Not I believe in myself. Everyone believes in themselves, right, until reality punches them in the face. Train harder than your excuses. Then you won't need confidence. You'll have proof. So let's recap before your brain leaks this in 10 minutes. Fighter pilots learn faster because they use a system. 1. Debrief immediately. Turn vague failure into specific corrections. 2. Train the bottleneck. Constrain the drill. Stop practicing the whole thing. 3. Use scoreboards. Measure performance, not feelings. 4. Add friction. Train for real life, not ideal conditions. Do this for 30 days and your progress will look illegal. Whether you're learning to code, studying for exams, building a business, writing content, or trying to fix your attention span, this works. Same brain, same rules. But here's the thing though. Even with all this, most people still lose because they train hard on the wrong things. They get efficient at low-value work. They build a perfect system for the wrong target. That's why I made the next video breaking down exactly how to find the highest leverage 20% in any skill. So you stop improving at stuff that doesn't matter. Watch that next, or keep grinding blindly like everyone else.